your story is something that you should be telling on reflection at 95 years of age, looking backwards, not something that should be told to you before it ever happens. We should be developing our own self, identifying with who we are, and then doing whatever it is that makes us feel good. We talk about it. Well, I do similar to you, so have a bit of a chat with them first. Just get them relaxed, a little bit more relaxed, because that they're shaking like a shitting dog when they come in the door. And then I hear myself say these things after I've said them. They come in and they're nervous. That's fine. That's given. Some people are better than others, and some people will walk in and they're nice and calm. And then as soon as you stick them in front of the lights, the eyes get huge. Don't. It looks like they're strung out on heroin.
That's a good line. I'll have to take that one. You look like you're strung out on heroin.
Yeah.
We should talk. We could have a whole talk about lines. I just say, you look like you're trying to have a crap and it's not coming out.
You're shaking like a shit dog. I remember there was something that was said. I was on a course when I was in the fire service. We were going into the control room, and you take the 909 calls, the fire and it's all fire dispatching.
By the way, John's an EMT too, on top of everything.
I was years ago. I was a long time ago.
I know, but is it once an EMT, always an EMT, or no?
I suppose the skills are always there, but hopefully nobody.
The skills are there. It's not, if I was over there walking down the street with you and I felt I collapsed, you're not going to go, oh, okay, well, I guess he's dead.
And it was his round in the pub as well. He was the boy in the next drink. But yeah, I remember a course for going into the control room, and because when you're there, you can just take control and do whatever, but you can't when you're on the far end of a phone call. So what they tell you to do is to give people reasons you want them to do things. In order to help him before the fire engine and the ambulance arrive, we're going to have to do this.
Okay.
So to help him, we're going to do this. We're going to do it together. I'm going to count for you. I'm going to do whatever. It doesn't matter what's going on. You give them a reason to do it. He's bleeding and you need to control the bleeding. I need you to get a towel and put pressure on it to stop the blood from coming out. Okay, easy. They have a reason for why you're telling them to do it. In the studio, I do the exact same thing. So medical skill, so paramedics are always funny when they come out to patients. Outside a shopping centre, somebody's at a crash in a car and you're looking in the back seat going, did you buy anything nice? I see you were in Ann Summers. Did you buy knickers? Did you buy bra? What'd you buy? You crack jokes. And they're thinking, well, if he's laughing, it's not that serious.
Must not be that bad.
Exactly. So you're breaking that cycle, right? So you're trying to, first of all, confuse them. So you're trying to break that cycle of that cortisol release. You're trying to get that to drop their heart rate down.
That cortisol is hurting them, actually hurting them.
Yeah, because it's increasing their heart rate. And if increased heart rate means squirty's happening a lot quicker, right? So you want to slow that down.
Right.
So that's a big thing. So in the studio, cracking jokes, not even just cracking jokes, just getting them off guard. And that might not be a cracking jokes thing. That might be you being sympathetic to them and understanding how they feel and telling them you understand how they feel. I hate having it done too. Get in there and we'll have some photographs. Right. This is going to be really easy for me. And then you laugh, as they go in, and a little bit of a sadist laugh, that stuff works really, really well. And then when they're standing in front of the lights, okay, first image, do whatever you want. Do whatever you think you should do. Oh, I don't know. Just whatever you did in your last photographs, right? And then take a photograph and then look at it on the back of the screen and go, you never have to do that again, right? So here we go. So I'm going to teach you. The camera doesn't see what we see. It sees 2 dimensions. We see 3 dimensions. I'm going to teach you now how to stand for the camera. It might feel a bit weird, but it's going to look really cool, right? So we're going to counteract the failures in the technology and then give them reasons. The camera sees back to front as far as they're concerned, right? You in the mirror don't look like you. It's the wrong way around. You're the only person who sees it. So what we're going to do is we're going to investigate what you actually look like. Now, when you're standing there and you're pulling your head back and we're living in Chinsville, we want to get rid of that. That doesn't happen. You don't look like that really. So what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you to move your head forward and bring your nose down so we can see your actual jawline. And the added bonus of people looking at the photograph will drip their head forward and not know they're doing it.
So I don't have this.
You have a delicious jawline. And then, once you get them into that pose, it's a go-to for me. It's not an always, but it's a go-to for me. When you take that first image where they've got big posture, So they're leaning back. There's a TV show here called Father Ted, and there's a very famous quote in it. One of the priests is stupid, and the other one is like trying to deal with him.
Oh yeah, you turned me on to that. I think I watched every episode.
Yeah, so they're in the caravan, and he has this little tiny cow in his hand, and Ted is saying, "Dougal, this is small. The ones out there are far away." And he's trying to explain, right, that they're the same size. And it's a very famous line here. So it's like, I can say to people here, like, it's the opposite of the Father Ted thing. These are small. The ones out there are far away. When you lean back, you actually get bigger on camera. Okay, that makes no sense. When they're standing there after the first image, when they've got big posture and their chin is out and their nose is down and we can see their jawline, I just say something, anything random to them. Like, can you do that again? But a fraction less constipated, and then they'll laugh. I take photographs of them laugh, and they come out and they look at the screen, and I'm like, that's what you look like when you get over your own head. So if the expressions have to be genuine, and when they know the expressions are genuine, and you've got 5 or 6 images of them through that laugh, and you bring them out and you show them the screen, you can say, look, this is the difference between what you think you look like and what everybody else sees. And then there's you to trust instantly. Like, mostly in the studio, I'll take 5, 6, 7 minutes maybe chatting to them. Depends on who they are, how nervous they are, whatever. But I've had days in LinkedIn where I've shot 100 people back to back, and you need to turn that. It's a different skill. That's turning it into like crowd entertainment. You bring them in 6s and 7s, not all together, because you don't want 100 people standing there waiting to go. But you can bring them in 6s and 7s. And what you can do is you can coach everybody together at the same time by the images coming up on a screen. But I like to turn it into a kind of running comedy show, you know, getting people in front of, like, you stand them out in front of you. And I got one girl, and she looked like Dora the Explorer. So I told her, like, you know, like telling people who they look like, or asking them questions, or like, I have a pot shot for languages. I love having random phrases in different languages, like bits of Chinese. I've been studying a bit of Chinese, Mandarin and Cantonese. Like, to have those and to just pull that out of the bag really quickly. Or Italians, because the likes of LinkedIn, there's lots of Italians. Kind of joke with them and say, oh, you know, because, you know, my wife's family are Italian.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Like, I speak a fair amount of Italian, and I'll say to them, like, oh, where are you from? Like, they've given me their name because I've changed the file to their name. What's your name? Francesco. Oh, 100%. Yes. Excellent. Here we go. And in front of everybody in the room, I'll be like, oh my God, I just started learning Italian 2 weeks ago on Duolingo. And they're like, really? Yeah. And then I'll say, like, my worst Dublin accent, I will butcher the Italian language. Ho iniziato a imparare Italiano 2 settimane fa. You know, they're like, wow, bravi, you know, you're very good. And then all of a sudden I'll switch and put an Italian accent on it. And they're looking at me speaking really quickly. Like, there's no 2 weeks. They're like, no. You know, they're looking at me as if I'm some sort of a genius. And then in the middle of it, sto scherzando, il mio suocero di Lecce. You know, I'm joking. My father-in-law's from Lecce. And then all of a sudden there's a reason, and it's like, oh my God, he pranked me. And then they'll laugh, and I can take photographs through that. And then everybody else in the room is all laughing, going, oh my God, this is crazy. My brain, once the information goes in, it stays in there. You know, I don't know how I managed to recall half of the crap I do, but, you know, I was in Riot Games. They're a huge games company. I was over there, and one of the girls, I said to her, where are you from? And she said, I'm from South Africa. And I was like, oh, cool, where? And she's like, oh, the east of South Africa, which is a place called KZN. It's KwaZulu Natal. It's where Zulu people are from. And Zulu is a language. And sure, why wouldn't I know bits and pieces of Zulu? So I just said to her, Sawubona. And Sawubona is their word for hello. It means we see you. You know, her face lit up. Then she started getting emotional. I was like, she's like, you know what Sawubona is? I said, I know what Sikona is as well. It's the reply to it. It means we are here to be seen. Because the Zulu people believe all of their ancestors walk every step in life with them.
With them. Yeah, right. I know the history of that for some odd reason. I don't know why I know that, but I do.
And she was amazed.
They're like literally there.
Yeah. We walk every step in life with them. And she was amazed by it, you know. And then somebody else came in and they were Brazilian, and I was kind of a few words in Portuguese and Brazilian Portuguese. And, you know, with people from all over the world here. So you can kind of mess around with languages with people and have fun just to shock them. Like, just for a bit of a laugh. And it's just something else to connect with them on on a human level. And it's making the effort for them. And they love it. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And they're going off, he's speaking my language. Like, It was a couple of words.
I know 4 words.
Yeah, like we were in Italy last week, and myself and my brother-in-law went into a store. They sell everything, like kitchenware and just all. You know that drawer that everybody has in their kitchen when you pull it out, it's full of shit. That's that shop.
Right.
Everything that's in that drawer is in that shop. Like you can get batteries, you can get like sun loungers, you can get shoes, you can get everything in there. And we went in, and of course they're all speaking Italian, but they were Chinese. And one of the ladies, I asked her where the fans were in Italian, little kind of ventilatore. And she showed me where it was, and I took it off her, and I went up to I said to her, she see it when I was finished, like, thank you. See it. And she
right.
kind of, and I walked off, and when I went up to pay the lady at the till, the counter, and the same thing, you know, I asked, are you Chinese? And she's kind of looking at me, like her just jaw hit the floor. And my brother-in-law standing beside me had totally forgotten I had been studying Chinese. And he's standing there and his jaw's on the floor. You know, and it's Mandarin. Like, and she's going, whoa, you know, like amazing. I was kind of joking with her then, because I switched into Cantonese for a laugh, just because it was hilarious, you know. She's like, you speak Guangdong, which is Cantonese. But she's kind of like, wow, like, this is mad.
All I know is, what is it? Doche? Yeah. In Cantonese.
Oh, Cantonese. Oh, yeah, you can say Mgoi or,
Mgoi.
Yeah.
See, Mgoi.
Yeah, Doche. It's just similar. It's thank you as well. They're two different thank yous. But she,
and what's the sure?
Which one?
Xie.
Xie is Mandarin. Xie.
No, in Cantonese. Something similar to that in Cantonese.
They generally say Mgoi, or they'll say Mgoi sai is like thank you.
No, but like during a phone conversation.
Oh.
Like Xie. Something like that.
I don't know.
I'm sure I'm not saying it correctly.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I would say like, sure.
Yeah, sure.
In English.
Yeah. It's the stuff that you hear, though.
I'll hear him on the phone.
Yeah.
I hear him on the phone and he's talking to mom. And yeah.
He's probably talking about you. I love that stuff, you know, because it's little things. When we were, Vivian, my wife's brother died in February, and we went to Italy to scatter some of his ashes, and his girlfriend came with us, and we were over there, and she was hearing people saying, Checo, you know, and you're like, what is that? Like, and she just kept hearing people say, Checo, yeah. Checo's toilet. And Checo is, I'm gone to the toilet. But she's heard, like, she was down on the beach and heard little kids go, Mama, Checo, you know, I'm going to the toilet. And of course, she was just going, Checo, you know, she's going around saying it everywhere, in the streets, in stores, everything, because they'd hear that, and it was hilarious, you know, which is kind of funny little voices of kids saying it. She's going around in the middle of the shops, Checo. And you can see people looking at them going, thanks for that information. But it's little things, and it's the little things that you learn. Like the Italians, they say pronto when they answer the phone. Pronto, yeah, which is I'm ready. That would have been because of the telephone exchange. You know, you'd have got the operator years ago and said, "Oh, connect me to so and so," and then they connected you to that person, and then they answer the phone, and the operator would tell you, like they're basically telling the operator, "I'm ready," and they still do it now. You know, they don't say hello, or they don't say anything else, or ciao, or whatever, or salve. They just go pronto. You're like, I'm ready. Like, it's like, speak.
You can get some that are kind of rude, and they'll just say digame. Like, tell me.
Yeah.
Answer the phone that way. I've had them answer the phone that way, but mostly it's hola.
Yeah, I have a friend, and when he answers the phone, he just goes, speak. Like some emperor.
Well, it's kind of like digame. Yeah. Digame is kind of like speak, tell me.
But he does it in English, and nobody else does it. Like, he's like the emperor of the far side of the spot. You may speak now.
Speak.
Yeah, he's like some sort of villain in a Star Wars movie. You may speak. Thinks he's some sort of emperor, but yeah, he just answers the phone and says speak. And it started off as a joke, I think, and he just does it now with everybody. Hilarious when his bank manager's ringing him. You know, or the police are ringing him. Speak. It's like, this is the police. Oh shit! Yeah.
So I just want to kind of tie this into, you know, the wellness side of what you do.
Yeah.
How important is it to get a good portrait, I guess, that you feel good about? Is that kind of where you're going with this as almost like a?
Yeah, it's kind of ties through personal brand and how we see ourselves, because Every version of us that we've ever seen is wrong. How can you have a good connection to yourself and to your self-worth and your self-image if every single version of you that you've ever seen is wrong? Depending on the focal length of the lens, you look completely different. Your mirror is always wrong. We've got conflicting evidence as to what we look like. We're trying to measure ourselves against other people, stuff we see in magazines, all these fantastic retouched images that we see everywhere. We're trying to compare ourselves to other people, and we need to take that away and just be you. And just having the word just in there kind of does it as a disservice, like being yourself and identifying yourself and seeing you in a social aspect. So your sense of social esteem, who you are. We grow up and we all know people, and it doesn't matter where you are. If you're in Ireland and your parents are doctors or they're accountants or they're lawyers or something, chances are you're going to follow into that. If they've all gone to college and things. If you grow up in a kind of poorer area and everybody works in construction or they work in supermarkets or, they just don't work, chances are you're going to follow into that. Your story is something that you should be telling on reflection at 95 years of age, looking backwards, not something that should be told to you before it ever happens. We should be developing our own self, identifying with who we are, and then doing whatever it is that makes us feel good. We should be just able to follow along a line that, if you're
like you're kayaking.
Exactly. Like my brother's a barrister. We grew up in the city centre. Most of my brother's friends stand in front of judges for very different reasons. Because like he's like a trial lawyer, barrister in the States. So you don't have barristers in the States. He's the one who argues with the judge. And then there's solicitors who are lawyers underneath him. They're kind of like do all the donkey work. But a lot of his friends, I know friends that I grew up with that never worked, or they work in manual labour jobs, and they've just never wanted to step outside of themselves, and they just did whatever was around them, taxi drivers and different things that they saw around them. Like if you were really creative and you're from the city centre or you're from the wrong side of the tracks and you want to be a professional cellist, because that's the thing that's going to enrich your life and enrich your heart, then that's the thing you should be doing, And if your parents are all doctors and solicitors and whatever, kind of these very educated people, and you grow up with no interest in academia and you want to paint pictures on the walls of caves with bat feces, it should be something that will enrich your life. If you're going to do it with bat feces, you want to get yourself checked out because you're probably mental. But, you know what I mean? Like if you want to
maybe you want to paint murals as an actual real.
Yes. If you want
reality.
To be an artist and
paint murals on walls.
Yeah. And be,
but your family has a history of being solicitors and barristers.
Yeah. If you want to be creative or you want to be a professional, like a surfer, like a surf instructor, or I don't know, a street sweeper because you just like cleaning, you should be allowed to do it because that's just the thing that's going to enrich your path rather than trying to fit yourself into something that you don't want to do. It's stuff we learn as kids.
I guess my question is, and I agree with that. What about the folks that are like the folks that show up on American Idol that just don't have it? Because there's that factor too. How do you answer that? Like you really don't have the talent, or is that just not really reality? Because if you strive hard enough, you'll eventually develop it. I mean, I could never be a vocalist. I don't think, no matter how bad I wanted to be.
You might be a Mongolian throat singer. You've got a deep enough voice. Just looking in the wrong place. You need to check out your Mongolian blood. I know what you mean, but it shouldn't just be about making money. Like I know we have to pay bills, but there's always a way for you to do the things that you want to do. Always. It mightn't be the classic way. You might be a spoken word artist, but you're creative. Like singing is storytelling. So it might just come back to being a storyteller and finding that path for yourself and finding what works for you. It doesn't always mean that you're going to be the next Mariah Carey, or whoever.
Yeah. Or me having this podcast and I'm going to be the next Joe Rogan.
I'm telling you, if he could do it, sure, he was just some asshole on the telly that used to do adventure shows. I thought actually I found out last year Joe Rogan was not the guy from the MMA. The guy who runs the MMA in general.
Oh,
Dana White. Yeah. I thought they were the same.
Dana White.
I thought they were the same dude. They look the same.
Oh, you thought they were the same? Oh, okay.
I don't pay that much attention to the stuff that's going on around me. And I don't have news. I don't have any news on my phone anywhere. I don't have any connection to news articles or anything. I have it all blocked because it's just greedy people making money off unfortunate people.
Pretty much, I would have to have a pretty high level of agreement with you on that.
Like,
it's actually quite sad, right? It almost incenses me. Is you'll hear them tell a story and they'll say, and we're going to follow up on that and let you know how that goes. Yeah. Good luck ever finding that follow up and how that goes.
We don't get that follow-up promise.
If there's a good outcome, you're not going to hear that story. If there's a bad outcome, then you're going to get the follow up.
100%.
But if there was a good outcome, it doesn't sell, so they can't sell ads, and so they're not going to tell you that.
It's them stimulating hormone release. They turn bad shit happening in the world into a soap opera. All it is you're going back to the Colosseum in Rome, doing the exact same thing.
That's interesting. I just had a conversation with somebody that was saying that in the sense of that was the first reality TV.
Exactly. And it's still going on now.
And his definition of that is because it's reality TV versus, because I want to say back during those same times, they had plays, right? Yeah. But with the plays, we had a story, and some of those stories were already possibly public.
Yeah.
And if the play played more than one time, people could talk about it, like, oh, you remember that Romeo and Juliet? Here's how it ended. And so we got people out there spoiling. So when somebody goes and sees it again, it's going to be the same story, the same ending, the same drama, the same everything else. Yeah. You go to the Coliseum games, though, that's reality TV because nobody knows how that's going to end.
Yeah.
So I understand you also work with cancer survivors.
Yeah. So that started with a young girl named Lucy. It's when they have it. Kids who are coming it's with the Children's Medical Research Foundation. I've done a bit. So it started with a girl named Lucy O'Connor, and she had a rare form of cancer. Now, she's perfectly okay now, but I had been, her mom had called me. I knew her mother, and she said to me, look, she's going back to school. She has no hair. She just has fluff. And she's very nervous about going back to school. And this is an empathy thing again, because when they go back to school and they have this small diminished posture, kids don't have the vocabulary to express, you make me feel uncomfortable. I don't know why, but you make me feel uncomfortable because you're uncomfortable. They're uncomfortable coming back to school. So kids will, instead of vocalize it and say, I feel uncomfortable with you, they'll pick on the other kids. So they'll pick on this diminished posture child who's coming back with no hair, and they'll bully them. Rather than that happen, we brought her into the studio and we really showed her what she looked like, and she went back to school feeling amazing. Another girl named Kate Doyle, and she was the same. She was coming back in after treatment and she had no hair. So she, the same, just a little scarf on her head, like a little bandana. Brought her into the studio and wouldn't take the bandana off. And then within minutes, we're having such a good laugh, we're having such good fun. And it helps them lift their posture and they get to know what they look like. And instead, then they're going back to school and they have this like, wait, I'll tell you what happened to me. I have this cool story. And the other kids don't feel uncomfortable with that. It's just another bald kid, whatever. The hair's going to grow back. But like they go back in and they have a cool story and they've got big posture and they're carrying themselves well, and it just means that it
makes all the difference in the world, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and that goes for any adult.
Yeah,
that's the same way.
In full flow, you
got this. Back, if you come in and get some headshots taken, and we're able to. I guess that goes back to I mentioned at the very beginning. Somehow get them to take all the masks off, right?
Yeah,
and unmask themselves so you can actually dive into actually who they are.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how deep you ever get with some of your clients on that level, but
that's
I don't know. I don't know what your belief system is.
That's fundamentally what it all comes down to is me trying to see them. I learned that really quickly because at the start, I just wanted everybody to be portfolio worthy. Everybody coming in the door. I want all the cool and sexy people because I've been shooting actors and stuff before that. And I just wanted all portfolio worthy. Like I want everybody to be famous and cool and known. I kind of gave that up really quickly because it wasn't about trying to make everybody super sexy and super whatever. It was about seeing them. And seeing them like as they are, like their movements, their flow, their personality, their sense of humor, all of that sort of stuff. And it was so important to just see that stuff and to show that and to be able to show them that because they recognize that.
How do you break through the people though? Like, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I got a wife that I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I don't think she thinks that she's pretty.
That's a nearly everybody on the planet thing. And it's,
I mean, how do you do? I mean, you saw the picture I posted of her that I found in my memory card.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little soft, right? Peter probably criticized it, but it captures her essence.
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't matter that the picture is off.
Yeah.
You know, as a photographer, you and I look at it and go, oh my God, you know, this, that, and the other, I could have done it so much better. But when I look at it, I mean, dude, I took that picture and I never saw it.
Yeah.
And I'm cleaning my bedroom and I find a chip
on
top. I put that chip like on top of some cabinet for some reason and plug it in my computer. And I just got blown away when I saw that picture. I mean, that picture is very lightly processed.
Yeah.
Some people might think it's been retouched. No, it's very lightly processed. There's, you know, a little bit of processing, obviously, with Adobe. I use Adobe Camera Raw on it. But other than that, that's it. There's no retouching in it. I didn't go through and do a bunch of healing brush or nothing. And in my opinion, she's amazingly beautiful. Yet here I got this beautiful human that I'm not saying she thinks she's ugly. She's just, I don't know. Like, how do you break through to people? Because I think maybe I'm wrong, but I think what people like you're talking about, they look at that mirror, or they look at that portrait, they're comparing themselves to the Elephant Man.
Oh yeah. But like, it's about making sure that they understand what they see in magazines. Like I do workshops with kids during the summer, this thing called Inside Out camps. It's a residential summer camp. And the kids, as part of it, we do a whole thing on brand you. So the kids get to see themselves. And it's them, their societal self, their residual self, their physical self. They get to see themselves properly and their own personality rather than trying to measure against whatever. But we show them images.
Can you maybe dive into that just a little bit? Societal, I want you to repeat that just so I can.
Societal self-image.
You said it really quick. But you have societal, what were the three, you mentioned these different images.
Residual self-image.
And societal self-image.
And their physical self, like what they actually look like. So residual self-image is what they explored with the Matrix. We have versions of ourselves that we see and we think that we look like, right? If we were to look at ourselves, or if we were to draw a picture of ourselves or sit with a police sketch artist and tell them what we look like, we'd all have like one eye different than the other. The mouth would be hanging down like dramatically. You know, it's all like crazy.
I would look more like this guy.
My ovaries are killing me looking at you. But
a guy with hair.
Yeah, we think we look a certain way.
But no, I'm being serious as a real life example of what you're talking about. Like seriously, I look in the mirror, like, who's that old guy in the mirror? And I sometimes joke with my wife about it, but it's not really. It's like there's a truth to it.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at this, what you're seeing right now, and it's not this.
Yeah.
Right. It's not this, and it's like, who is that guy?
Yeah, we paint pictures in our head of what we think we look like. The same as that open.
And that's what you're talking about with this residual image.
So when you opened the fridge in your head earlier on, you know, it's the same thing. We paint a picture of what we look like. And that picture gets stuck, even though it's inaccurate. Every single version of you that you see is wrong. The mirror is wrong. What you see on camera is wrong. Everything is wrong. What's on camera is dependent on the focal length of the lens or the zoom level of the lens. It's all wrong.
Yeah, we're taking 3D and putting it into 2D.
Exactly.
It's never going to be right.
And then when you're
trying to say, can I just repeat that just to make it clear? It will never be correct.
It'll never be 100%.
Because it's 3D.
So like I shoot with 100mm lens on a full frame camera because it doesn't have any distortion. I have to get people to stand in really weird positions for them to look under huge lights, like all that power of lights, to help the camera to try and see what we see. And I have to try and bring out their personalities and their movements to try and make it accurate to them or as close as possible. But when we
it's interesting. Did we get that from Peter or something? Because I shoot I don't have a 100mm lens, but I shoot a 7200 zoom, but I try to set it at 100mm.
Yeah, I think
on a full frame camera.
Yeah, Peter was shooting that 100 for a while. I don't know whether he still is, but I think I probably got that.
But it seems to be about as normal. Yeah, translating real life into 2D as you can get.
Yeah, we see between 85 and 100mm as a focal length as with the human eye. So we're trying to get as accurate as possible. And that's the whole Matrix things. Like when the guys, what they actually look like is dirty with the USB port in the back of their head, right? The shaved heads. That's what they look like. But how they see themselves when they get plugged into the matrix is what they think they look like. Now, it's the opposite way around for most of us, right? We don't think we're cooler than we are. In real life, we would be that cool looking guy, and then we get flipped. And what we see is this kind of diminished posture, this less of a person, that sort of stuff.
With the ratty clothes and the shaved heads.
So we see ourselves like that. We're not as cool as everybody else. So the matrix is just our sense of residual self inverted. It's just the wrong way around.
Inverted.
Yeah. And then we have like our sense of societal self-image, like who we think we should be because everybody around us is. That thing I was talking about your parents being solicitors or doctors or whatever, we think we have to follow that. And then showing them the third version, which is actually what they look like, which is the physical self. So standing them in front of the lights, showing them their personalities, having fun with them, letting them be themselves and express themselves, and taking photographs of that.
So getting that photograph of them laughing or crying or whatever it is, or their eyes watering up.
Yeah.
Is a way to get them to actually identify with the reality of the physical self as close as we can get it, shot with that camera with the 100mm lens, and then putting that up on the monitor.
And then they're there for a week, and then the leaders are going around with cameras and they're taking photographs the whole time, and they get to see the kids in full flow of themselves, and that's what they're showing. This is you as you are, running around, having fun, being full of life. This is where you are. And then we measure ourselves against. We show them examples of things on social media, things from advertising. You're only ever shown highly retouched, kind of perfect images. And it's the same when we go on social media. If you go onto Facebook, first thing in the morning, everybody loves everybody. By lunchtime, everybody's sleeping with everybody else's husband and there's chaos, and everybody's telling everybody how crap their life is. If you go on to, and it's highs and lows, it's just extremes. If you go onto social media like Instagram, or even if you go to LinkedIn, everybody's telling you how great their life is. You're only seeing highlights, and then we measure ourselves against what we see. Like all these people we follow only have fantastic lives. And here's me on the same bus sitting next to the same smelly guy, go to the same office to talk to the same people and do the exact same thing over and over again. So I'm living in this grey space that I identify as me, but everybody else seem to have these kind of elated lives. And we measure against that. And it's not true. Nobody tells you on their way to have the best cup of coffee in the world to post it on Instagram. They walked in dog shit. They don't tell you that. They don't tell you that normal things happen to them. Their car wouldn't start. That their card wouldn't work when they went to tap and pay. Different things that happen. They don't tell you that. They only show you the highlights.
But the reality is a lot of people have the situation where they have a card that doesn't work when they go to tap and pay. I remember, I think it actually was Joe Rogan. I think he had a show where he said, when I really knew that I made it, I could go to a restaurant and I didn't have to check my bank account balance.
Yeah. And sometimes the card doesn't work. There's a band from here that were really big called the Coors. It was 3 sisters and a brother. And I remember they were really famous for a while. I think they were famous all over the world, or mostly around the world, back in the 2000s. The brother in the band, so the 3 sisters are beautiful and everybody knows who they are. And then he was like nearly the backing singer. He was like in the background just because the 3 girls were told by their parents, like, play with your brother, let him come with you. I remember being in a bar on Dawson Street, and I was in there with some friends. It's called Cafe on Seine now. I can't remember what it was. It was Cafe on Seine back then. Big fancy bar with these huge palm trees, and it was very opulent. It was like Malaysia somewhere back in the 70s. We were in there, and we'd seen him trying to show off to all these women all around the table, and he's going to pay the bill, and he went up and he paid with his card, and the card was rejected. I was so happy.
You were so happy.
I'll go up and pay for him, will I? That's all right, Jim. I have it.
Yeah.
He was known he has these weird views and stuff. He's a bit of a tinfoil hat wearer, and I was just so happy that he got
me.
He got refused. It was so funny. But I know it was just funny. I think Irish people are just like that. We're very self-deprecating anyway, so it was funny to see that happen. It'd be like Bono going up to the bar and trying to pay his bill, and they're like, "Sorry, it's rejected."
Didn't work.
Yeah,
sorry, buddy.
He clearly had the money, but it was just the card didn't work that day.
Right.
And I think it's important to see ourselves uninterrupted, and that's what I try to give to kids who have cancer or the craniofacial prosthesis patients, or anybody like that, or anybody at all. It doesn't matter whether you've got something crazy and funky going on or you don't. Everybody has the right to see themselves as they are. And we see a lot in the studio where people stand there and they just look at the screen in awe, like shocked. I actually do look like my dad. I do look like my aunt. I do look like this person. I've always been told it, but I never saw it. Yeah, because every version of you that you see is inaccurate. And now you're seeing a version of you that represents you being you, with your own personality and the whole lot. And it's really good to show that, it's really good to connect with people on that level and to see their own personalities and their own, thoughts and fears, and let them show you them, in an uninterrupted way. And Peter talks about it as camera invisibility, where they're only connected with me. And that's what I was saying earlier, is that the two of us could take pictures of the same person and we'll get two totally different sets of results, because it's my relationship with them that we see, and it'll be your relationship with them that we see. And we connect in a different way.
To be clear, let's paint the picture even clearer. We could be at the same studio, have the exact same lights, hand the camera off to each other, be at the same distance from the subject. Yeah. Like literally the camera settings and the lighting is identical. Yep. There is no difference. It's going to be so much of a difference in how that turns out,
because it's our relationship with them, and our relationship with them.
Right. I'm still learning to get there. I'm not quite there yet. I mean, I don't know. Do you know Vadim?
Yeah.
David. I mean, he just has a way.
It's just a connection with the person. And it's not about, Peter says, like, not to find your own shtick, I can't walk around Dublin screaming shebang and high-fiving people. I'd be locked up.
Right. It's not you. That's not you. It's not me either.
It's not a thing here. It's just people don't have that confidence here. Like, people don't have that. People that look at you as if, here's your colouring book and your helmet, get back on the bus. Like, there's something wrong with you if you're that kind of energetic in Ireland. It's just not a thing. It really is about having my own personality and understanding myself. And then the same with you. It's about you having your own personality with those clients, and then like being like giving them the soft touch, having a chat with them, getting to know them a little bit before you put them in front of the camera, and then explaining to them why you want to do the things with them you want to do.
Well, I am taking a few things away I'm going to steal from you, because I like the thing of this is going to be really easy for me.
Yeah. Check. That's gone in the bucket.
That one's pretty good.
Yeah. It's okay. You don't need to shake like a shitting dog or whatever else. But no, it's like, I know I can get away with stuff because I'm cheeky, and I'm really cheeky, and I know I can get away with some of the stuff I say to people, because like, it's stuff that you just couldn't say in any other setting. Like, you just couldn't. It's about finding that boundary line of what is funny and what is offensive, and not crossing them over. But it's about understanding their limitations and my limitations. I remember there's a guy, this is going to sound awful, but there's a guy, Andy Yasutaki. He was the global head of operations and technology in LinkedIn. I had him in front of my lights. I'd been working with a whole team, and he was really nervous. Well, it wasn't that he was nervous. He was trying to fake a smile, and it wasn't working. And he knew he was faking a smile, and it wasn't working. If I get somebody really short and the person who was in before them was average height or tall, all I'll do is change the focus point. So the camera's still where it was. The lights are still where they were. They're like down here. The other person was way up here. And all I'll do is change the focus point to the one at the bottom, and I'll just take a photograph of the top of their head, and I'll let it come up on the huge screen. Of course, the whole room will just laugh. But it's about that entertainment factor of connecting with all of those people. And I'm like, you're done. You're amazing. You're like everybody else.
And it's a picture of their forehead.
Like, I can't talk. My father-in-law calls me mozzarella. I'm so white. So what I'll do is, for like red-haired people are generally very pale. So what I'll do is I'll just dial the exposure way up on the camera, take a photograph of them, and you just get this big glow in the dark screen. It's like just white everywhere. And I'm like, there you are. They're totally overexposed because they're so pale, And it's just playing to the kind of stereotypes and the comical stereotypes that they already know that are out there for themselves. And then I'll just dial it back, and then we're like, the joke is a joke. We've gotten the joke, it's funny.
I like all that. I probably don't do enough of that.
Yeah.
Do you find that shooting with the 6 and 7s groups is actually beneficial?
It's just quicker to bounce through them, especially the companies want more time bums on seats, so they don't want people kind of wandering around the office all day. So we bring them down in 6s and 7s. It's just quicker. It's quicker to turn people over as well, because 7 people are getting coaching at the same time. You can kind of bounce in, like the first person might take a few minutes, and then the next few people are already kind of geared up for it. The trust is already there. So you can fly through them really quick, move on to the next group, and then you can do the exact same thing again. Like, it turns more into.
And so how do you feel that this is, because there's another component to this, in my opinion. I guess there's people out there talking about how AI is taking over. There's a bunch of AI websites to give you load up 10 pictures and it's going to create a headshot for you.
It's still not you.
It's still not you, but not only is it not you, I guess in my opinion, let's just pretend that it is you.
Yeah.
Let's say the AI gets that good. I just think there's this coaching, or I don't know what you want to call it, this positive self-image, this mental health, almost. I mean, I understand you're not a trained psychologist, but I think there's a component of that gets lost if you just say, okay, everybody take 10 selfies and send them to me.
Yeah.
And we're going to pump out everybody's headshots. They're all going to look alike. And they're going to look good. Let's say, again, even making the argument, let's say the AI is that good. I still think you're almost missing a big component of what it means to bring in a headshot photographer to an organization to take everybody's headshots.
You're essentially saying that the people themselves don't matter. You know, it's just all we want is an image of you. And if you're not happy enough to give us, like, to work on seeing yourself, actually seeing yourself, we just want an image that kind of looks like you. They may as well use absolute dog shit images. Like, just go and take a shit selfie. Like, send 2 girls into the toilet together and let one take photographs of the other one. They may as well just use absolute dog shit images, because they're not going to show themselves. They're not making an investment into themselves. They're not making an investment into the people in the company.
Well, I think that's the big part of it, right? The company is not, they're actually communicating what you just got done saying. I'm going to regurgitate what I'm hearing is they're communicating, we don't care about you.
Yeah, exactly. We want good images of you, regardless if they look like you or not. You know, a friend of mine, I have actually some of the pictures of me kayaking I took from my GoPro and I put them into an AI. I put them into ChatGPT just for fun. Told it to make it all dramatic and stuff. It changed my face.
Right. It won't leave your face alone, no matter how good the image is.
Yeah.
I've actually played around with that too. I can't remember what I was wanting to do. I was wanting to do something, right? Yeah. And I think I was wanting to work on my cover photo for my podcast.
Yeah.
And I got that picture of me with my hand on my chin or whatever. I happen to like it. I don't know. My wife took it. We were having a very good weekend. I think I have a good expression there because I'm looking at her. To me, it's not about the perfection of the photography angles and this and that. It's more about, I guess for me, because I remember that weekend, I could give a shit if you think it looks like dog shit, John. Because what it reminds me of, right?
Yeah.
That's what matters to me. I mean, I love that headshot that I have right now on my profile, but I ask it, oh, can you go create me a nice cover? And here's the picture I want you to use. And then it changed my freaking picture. And I didn't, and I go back and I go, I didn't ask you to change my image. My image is fixed. It's, build something cool around it. For whatever reason, can't do that. So, I don't think it's quite there yet. And I just still think it's what the company is communicating to its staff by not wanting to make the investment. And having somebody professional come in there. The other thing that I found interesting, and I got this off of Stephen Bartlett, and I'm trying to get my team to do it as well. And I don't know if you noticed, but Julie's busy posting on LinkedIn now too, which was really tough. She did not want to put it out there. And she's received, honestly, a lot of support from a lot of women out there. And I think it's the idea of companies embracing people, actually pushing them to build their personal brand. And I've had people tell me like that's something that I like to build out, right? That's what I would like to help companies and individuals do. Like you're doing it with headshots. I'd like to do it with headshots and the idea of coaching people on how to build a personal brand through content. Because as Stephen Bartlett would say, as an example, if you and I work for the same company, I'm into motorcycles, kind of like you are into the kayaking, and I'm also into mountain biking. We also have a passion for photography. If we were both working for the same company, you going out and creating your own personal brand around kayaking and photography, and me around motorcycles, bicycling, we're going to have different audiences.
100%.
And by building those personal brands out, you're bringing in the larger audience. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I encouraged Julie to start posting. I was super nervous about that. I told her when I encouraged her, at the same time, out of the other side of my mouth, I'm saying, now, if you end up getting some kind of amazing job offer, please help me find your replacement. Because I go, this is what this might lead to. Like, she was worried, I don't know. Everybody's nervous about posting about themselves, right?
Yeah, because we're opening ourselves up to critique and all sorts of different things. But that's the thing.
And I saw the other side of it. I said, now you're opening yourself up because you're being your authentic self and showing what your life is about. You're actually probably opening yourself up to potentially better opportunities than I'm giving you. And then when I finally communicated that to her, I think she finally saw, like, oh my God, yeah, this is actually pretty good. And she got a lot of support from the LinkedIn community, which I was very happy about.
It's amazing that when people see you being your authentic self and opening up, showing behind the curtain, people relate to that on a massive level. I do something that's very unusual. It's not a huge sport, even in an island like this, the kayaking, and everybody relates to it. Like, everybody wants to, like, wow, that's kind of cool, because I spend so much time upside down as well, because I roll and I teach rolling. They're like, oh my God, that makes me feel really nervous when I see it.
Yeah, and they're not even doing it. They're watching you do it.
Watching me do it. But people are connecting with that because it's me, and people are seeing behind the scenes of that. And they're seeing my weird sense of humor when I go into a store and I see something like in Italy, and you're seeing baby food that's horse flavor, and it's not just horse flavor, there's actual horse meat in it. And I'm showing them that because it's funny. Like, it's something different, and they're connecting with that, me having a slightly skew sense of humor, me hanging around in Higgins Butchers the whole time, like apologizing and not apologizing to vegans as they walk in the door. Like, saying that I'm going to go in and torment the heart and soul out of Rick, who's the butcher, like the main butcher. Time to go in and piss Rick off, and this is a constant thing. It's just me having fun in my life. And then I'm sharing some of my content, some of the stuff that I'm doing as content. It shows people me, and people always buy from people. But they don't just buy from people, they buy from people they trust. And if they don't trust you, they're not going to buy from you. I'm not Amazon. I'm not just a machine that people buy from. I am me, and people want to connect with me. And if people like me, they will connect with me on a human level, and they will stay with me for longer. It's just a thing that, like, they have a relationship with me.
Well, it takes a long time to, like, there are brands out there that people will buy from.
Yeah.
Amazon, Apple, IBM. Yeah. We can name some of these large ones out there. Before, like, I'm going to specifically target Apple, because that one's an easy one for me to target. Before Apple was Apple, before Apple was a brand, it was not Apple.
Yeah.
It was Steve Jobs was the brand. Yeah. Let's be real.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about even up to the point that the iPhone came out, it was Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was Apple. Yeah. Apple was secondary to Steve Jobs. And that's, to me, the argument for personal brands.
We don't look at companies anymore. You don't look at McDonald's now. You can go onto LinkedIn and type in McDonald's, and you can see everybody who works at McDonald's, who has a LinkedIn account. You're seeing beyond the wall now. And it's so important that not only do people have their own personal brand, but they tie in, you get to see the different flavors of what's behind the wall. You get to see the connections, and you get to see people being themselves. And it gives you a sense of what that company stands for, depending on the people who are behind it. We're able to see through the walls now, where before it was just logos. And it's not a logo anymore. It's the people who work there. And it's the stuff that they're posting on LinkedIn, and the stuff that they're posting on Facebook, and the stuff they're posting on Instagram. It's all of that sort of stuff. And it's very easy to find these people. Sure, if you go for a job, they're going to go search for you. They're going to search for you on LinkedIn. They're going to search for you on social media, and they're going to get an idea of what you're like, because it's so easy to do now.
Right. I'm just looking at Julie's cover page, because when she first started working for me, she had, my brand up on it. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. She's like, what do you mean I want that? I go, I don't want that. I want you to be you. So I just looked just to check, and she played around with it a little bit. Now she's got one. It's got her name, executive assistant, mom of 3, doing the work with my hands full and my heart in it.
Yeah.
That's her brand.
Yeah.
That's her. And to me, that's so valuable to my brand that's who my executive assistant is.
Yeah.
Because now they can relate to her. as an example. So I'm trying to live it through being that person that's, allowing for it. I think if companies did that, because it's interesting, because I think companies would want her to, if she worked for them, they'd want her to have their company name on there. But that's not really, that's so secondary to who we are as humans.
That's it. Look, we shouldn't be a label, and we shouldn't be, executive assistant or any of these things. That's what you do. It's one thing that encompasses what you do. Inside of that label is a million other things that you do every single day.
Right. She's a mom of 3.
Yeah. But
that's actually what's important to her.
Yeah.
Is her daughter.
And
that's what drives her.
And that's so important, because that's somebody else would connect to that. And that's the brands that succeed. It's the people who succeed, especially through social media and stuff like that. There's a pharmacist here. She calls herself the Fabulous Pharmacist. I can't remember her name will come to me, but she puts herself out there. She's cooking at the weekends and she posts some of it on her stories on Instagram. The same thing. She sells huge amount of product because she does all these different tablets for different things, herbal tablets. She posts and gives people advice, and she has chats with people on social media. She's very open to talking to people on social media. There's a lady here, Samantha Kelly, call her Tweeting Goddess, was Samantha Kelly Tweeting Goddess. Now she's kind of more social media expert and media expert. She is the same. Like, you get to see her life behind the camera and behind the social media. A friend of mine is a radio DJ here, Dave Moore, and he shows you stuff with his kids, and he's out coaching soccer, and he's, making guitars, and he's doing all these other things, and he shows you his life behind the camera, or behind the scenes of being this famous radio DJ, and you can relate to him. Like, you can relate to him on a crazy level, and that's why his show here on the radio is the biggest commercial radio station in the country.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was part of the duo, but then the other guy left. Dermot left. Now, Dermot has a great brand, and after moving, he's doing a lot of mindfulness stuff and wellness stuff. But that's after taking off for him straight away, because everybody could relate to him, because they already knew him, and they know him personally because of him talking on the radio, and he talks about his life. And then Dave is very open. Like, everybody knows who Dave Moore is in this country, because not only is the biggest radio station, but everybody knows the stuff that he's up to every day.
How did Ireland learn who John Murray is?
Through me.
No lie. So many people know about you, right?
Yeah.
If you go look at your social media profile, I'm looking at Fabulous Pharmacist. Is this it, Laura Dowling?
Yeah. Laura Dowling, yeah.
Okay. She's got 290,000 followers. If I look up John Murray headshots.
Yeah, I don't have a huge following like that, but people know who I am.
4,000 followers, and so many people know who you are.
Yeah, because
that's what I find that's crazy, because it's not about the follower count.
No.
It's not about the vanity matrix. I think it's more about being yourself.
Yeah.
What's your thing for the kayak? Because you said you have a kayak.
Oh, Oru Paddler. I don't know how many's on that. It's probably only 800 or 900 or something.
Oh, got it. East Coast Paddler. Yeah. All right, I'll follow that one. So, yeah, I guess that's and then there's RU Kayak. Is that, what is that?
RU Kayak is it's a brand. It's a kayak company from San Francisco.
Oh, that's good. I'm following that already, because that's the foldable one that you used to have.
Yeah.
Or you still have.
I don't have them anymore. I have that, and I have another one as well that's similar. It's made of carbon Kevlar, and it's from Sweden, so it's very expensive.
Very lightweight to carry.
If Vivian's watching this, it was €50. It's 14 kilos.
But what do we tell her when you are gone and she needs to sell it? It wasn't €50 because she's going to sell it for €50.
When you sell it, it's gone up in value because I owned it. But it just it's crazy.
Kind of like my fly fishing reels.
Yeah,
those are only $50 each too, Elena.
Middle Oil and Aldi in the supermarket. You get them in Costco. But that's the thing is that the other that one is only 14 kilos. It's very, very light, but it's designed for hunting and fishing. But
so what do you call that when you carry it? What do they call it? There's a word for
portage.
It when you're like carrying it.
Portage or portage.
Portage. Yeah. That's what I remember hearing. Portage. Right? Yeah. So to portage your one that you've got now is quite easy.
Oh, I can hold it over
only 20 kilos.
Head with one hand.
With one hand. Yeah. Wow.
It's only 14 kilos. It's very light, and very fast as well. Very fast.
Is that because of the carbon fiber component, or is that more about the design?
It's carbon Kevlar.
Like this.
Yeah, it's both. It's very long and very narrow, and then it's made of carbon Kevlar.
So weight matters in the sense of the speed.
Yeah.
The weight sitting in the water.
The most important thing.
So me sitting in your kayak and you sitting in your, I don't know how many kilos. I'm 260 pounds. I'm guessing I'm heavier than you.
Yeah, a bit, but it's not about that. It's the length of the kayak and how narrow it is. So the longer it is, the narrower it is, kind of the weight distribution forward.
If it was made out of traditional materials, it'd be so much heavier that it'd be difficult to manage.
In traditional materials, it'd be even lighter.
Oh, it'd be lighter than the Kevlar.
No,
and carbon fiber.
Inuit make kayaks 3 times the length of your height. So they measure off the people. They never had measuring tapes and stuff. So they measure off you. And then the width of the kayak is you when you stand with your fists next to your hips. And that's the width of the kayak. So it was measured around the people.
And so this kayak was made for you custom?
The one that I built is, and then the one that I bought isn't, but it's a little bit wider, like by an inch. There's not much of a difference in it. And then I haven't fitted out internally. I have fit out done for me because it's very different.
Yeah, but you guys see how John is. We can always go right back into kayak.
Yeah. Oh man, I just talk about it.
You can tell he likes it. How often do you go kayaking?
As often as I can. Usually, especially during the summer, nearly every morning I go out for sunrise.
Does Vivian ever go with you?
She has. Yeah, she's paddled on Lake Como in Italy. She's paddled here a good few times as well.
Does she have her own kayak or she uses one of yours?
Uses one of mine. She's a fair weather paddler. So like she'll go out at the odd time, but not a huge amount. It's kind of my thing. And I go out.
Well, I convinced Elena to do a 225-mile bike ride on the Camino in Spain because I'm a cyclist and she does it because I love it and I love her and I guess she loves me. She doesn't necessarily love cycling. She has a mountain bike now and she's like, I told you I never want a mountain bike, but yet she's got a mountain bike with a trainer in there that she'll go ride. How cold is the weather? I mean, the water.
Where I was the weekend, the water is 8 degrees Celsius. So that's probably 14 degrees.
46. Ooh.
Yeah. And I spent.
So are you in a wetsuit or just swim trunks?
Swimming trunks. I'm hardcore. I'm joking. In a dry suit, in thermals, and then with a dry suit over the top of it.
Oh, you're in a dry suit even. Okay. But seriously, do you have to be?
Oh yeah. Like,
is it life risky to I guess if something horrible did happen and you're in that water.
Yeah, you dress for immersion. So look, if everything goes wrong, you're dressed for that.
So you're not really, quote, having to do that. It's just if something horrible would go wrong, you could be in the water for a few hours.
Well, I was coaching at the weekend. So on Friday and Saturday and Sunday, I was coaching. So I was standing in the water next to people learning to roll their kayaks. And on Friday, I was standing in the water for 3.5 hours. And then I was in the kayak, rolling the kayak for another hour.
With the dry suit or without?
With the dry suit and with a thing called a tuilicon as well. It's like a suit that's put over the top of it again. So it seals me into the kayak. It has a hood and everything. It's neoprene. It's very thick neoprene. Yeah, I was 4.5 hours in the water on Friday. The same on Saturday. And then on Sunday, I was in the water.
How do you like the cold water on your face?
Love it, yeah. Love it.
So I've embraced cold plunging here recently.
Yeah.
I had a tub that I put ice in, but the ice is it gets crazy. And I finally bought one with a chiller because the ice is just such a pain. So I'm down to like 52 degrees now every morning for like 5-6 minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You're stopping inflammation by cold plunging. And when it tenses up the muscles and stuff, after it creates great circulation. So you're basically squeezing lactic acids and stuff out of the muscles.
The interesting fact that I found with it, John, is there's something in the face, nerve receptors or something. I don't know what it is. If I put my body in that water, it feels super cold. Yeah. Well, not anymore. I'm kind of used to it. But in the beginning, I'd be super cold. But then I put my face in it, and it's like somebody just turned up the heat on the water.
Yeah.
And I didn't change the water. The water hasn't changed temperature. But my body, for whatever reason, because my face got that cold splash, thinks that water is not as cold as it.
Well, we use the top of our head for thermal regulation. So when you stick your head under the water, your head cools down first, and then your body is ready for the rest of it. You're already aware of the water temperature, rather than doing it the opposite way around, where the top of your head is still really warm because you've got the heat rises and it's coming at the top of your head.
Yeah, it was always fun talking with you, John.
Yeah, you too, man.
Thanks again so much for being my guest. Vibing your vibe, and every voice has a frequency. We have to squeeze that in there.
Yeah.
All right. Super. Thank you, sir. Have a great rest of the day. Say hello to your lovely wife.
I will. See you later.